You probably didn't need to be reminded, but just in case you weren't actively thinking about it, TJ Watt is still a monster. And if you need any proof, look no further than this strip sack he pulled off against the Falcons late in the second quarter. Watt times his jump off the line absolutely perfectly, giving right tackle Caleb McGarry almost no chance to stop him. And after getting around everyone, he still has the presence of mind to reach a paw out on Kirk Cousins' throwing arm, knock the ball free, and fall on it. Asked post-game about the play, he said he found a golden nugget in his tape study that helped him time his release. I've watched the play several times now, and the only nugget I found was how he times up his jump with the center's head. Watch how the center ducks down to look at the ball, and then, as he snaps it back up to see what's in front of him, Watt is already starting his jump. Altogether though, this might have been the best defensive play in all of week 1. It's a shame then that it didn't even count. Now, I don't usually show plays on my channel that didn't count, but there's a few reasons I chose to show this one. First, it came out after the game that the official had botched the offsides call and should have let it stand, and second, because even without that play actually on the books, Watt's still graded as the best defender overall for all of week 1. He finished the day with 4 tackles, 2 of those for a loss, 3 quarterback hits, a fumble recovery, and 1 sack. He made life a living hell for the Atlanta offense all game long, and made his presence known on the very first drive of the game. The Falcons opened up by marching down the field to get onto the Steelers' 10-yard line. Now, on first down, out of the pistol, the Falcons will do a zone run towards Watt. Zone runs, put simply, are defined by how all the blockers on the line move in unison to one direction to take on defenders who come into their blocking zones. Watt obviously knows this, and takes advantage of McGarry's momentum into the zone. He pushes him further towards the run direction, and slips into the gap he's created to pull down Bijan Robinson and turn this into a 2nd and 13. What had been a promising opening drive had then turned into only 3 points. But we can't praise the Steelers' defense without giving the Falcons' offense at least a little bit of shit. You've already heard McGarry's name mentioned twice, and there's a reason for it. Atlanta gave him very little chance to be successful against Watt. On the Pat McAfee show, analyst Michael Lombardi called it coaching malpractice, saying they acted as if they didn't know he was going to be at that game, giving McGarry very little help on his end. The Falcons also became very predictable depending on where they positioned quarterback Kirk Cousins. Let's break this down and see if you notice a pattern. So, the Falcons called 50 offensive plays, not including those called back by penalty, and 48 of those 50 came with Cousins in the shotgun or pistol. 26 of those 48 were in pistol, which leaves 22 in shotgun. Now, check this out. When the Falcons were in pistol, they ran 20 times and passed 6. When they were in shotgun, they passed all 22 times. And maybe even more surprising than just this breakdown is the fact that the Falcons called literally 0 play action plays. None. They were the only team that did this in week 1. Because Cousins has typically excelled in these concepts, many wondered if Atlanta is protecting him because he isn't fully healthy and can't move well enough to execute on them. And watching him in this game, it's hard to disagree with that. But in any case, the predictability made it easier for the Steelers' defense to play more on instinct. Learning they didn't have to worry about the threat of play action, the rush defense became faster to their spots as they didn't have to hesitate or provide a cushion for a route sneaking out somewhere. Plus, seeing Cousins pass out of shotgun every time helps the line pin their ears back and go for the quarterback as opposed to also worrying about containing a runner. Pittsburgh was able to get plenty of guys in Cousins' face all day. He was pressured on 39.3% of his dropbacks, tied for 9th most in week 1, and graded as the 27th worst quarterback in these situations. Let's look a little closer at Kirk's first interception of the day. The Falcons come out in pistol, and this will be one of the rare times all game that they'll pass out of it. Cousins sets Robinson in motion and gets the snap. The Pittsburgh coverage team does a fantastic job to take away the first read, which is a stick route over here. And now, Cousins gets out of rhythm and starts looking for someone else to throw to, all the while, the Steelers' pass rush is starting to get through the interior of the line. But check out what's happening on the other end of this play. We're going to hone in on what new safety Deshaun Elliott does here. He's in a cover 2 concept here, and you'll see him spot Kyle Pitts coming across the middle of the formation, which springs him into action to stop his backpedal. However, watch how he doesn't get tunnel vision. He keeps his eyes on the quarterback and changes course at the last second when he sees Cousins lock on to Drake London. Cousins ends up throwing this right into Elliott's arms just as the defensive tackles swallow him up. Elliott shined throughout this game, playing great coverage, including a pass he broke up from miles away. He ended as the third best graded defender for Pittsburgh and has quickly become a guy for me to watch on this team. TJ Watt and the Steelers should feel really good about their debut performance. The success of the team and Mike Tomlin's always above 500 legacy will likely be contingent on how well this defensive unit performs. After all, I think it'll be a pretty explosive performance if this offense, as currently constructed, scores more than 21 points a game. That's not to say Justin Fields isn't good enough to win some games and make some magic happen. I think he did enough in week 1, and although I would have loved to have seen a Russell Wilson reunion in Denver for week 2, I think Pittsburgh is making the right choice by rolling with Fields. But regardless of who's behind center, this is going to be yet another year where the Steelers' defense won't be able to take any plays off. And even though they'll almost undoubtedly hit a rough patch or two, overall, Watt and this unit are good enough to cash that check. Here's to another 9-10 win season, Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to give it a like if you did enjoy it and consider subscribing to the channel so you can catch the next one. Thanks, bye.